This story is about catching fish, a miraculous catch of fish. And last night on the Family Rosary Across America, they put a picture of a little boy, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years old. He was a fisherman, and he was holding up a bluegill, and he was so excited. Imagine how excited he would have been if he had been with Peter and James and John, and they filled 2 boats with fish to the point that they were sinking. And it all happened because Jesus told them, do this. And even though I thought it was like an unreasonable request, they did it. They were obedient, and the miracle happened. So that's very good for us to reflect on, especially on this day, the feast of Saint Jose Maria. Born in 1902 in Spain, died in Rome on this day, 1975. And it's amazing, he died just the way he wanted to die. During his lifetime, he said he didn't want to bother anyone. He didn't want to be in a nursing home bed. He wanted to work until the last moment with the boots on. And he wanted to be looking at a picture of Our Lady, which is an oil painting of Our Lady of Guadalupe from Mexico, which has actually been transferred to his office in Rome. And he walked in, he looked at that image of Our Lady, and he died of a massive heart attack, just the way he wanted to. And he is known mostly because he was a founder of an institution in the church known as Opus Dei, which is Latin for the work of God. And the whole point of Opus Dei is that everyone is called to be a saint. And most of us are called to be a saint by doing our ordinary work well. Most people spend most of their time working. And he said that's an integral part of how you imitate Jesus, who learned it from Joseph, who were ordinary workers. And today, Opus Dei is spread throughout the world with close to 100,000 members, men and women, 2,000 priests or so. And the whole point is a universal call to sanctity in the middle of the world. But St. Josemaria had 3 special loves. He had a great love for the Holy Eucharist. He was very exacting and demanding that everything of the liturgy should be just so. He had a deep love for the Blessed Mother and a great love for Jesus on the crucifix. And it occurred to me, I was thinking about this homily, we've got that right here, our Lord in the Holy Eucharist, the Blessed Mother, and Jesus on the crucifix. And he, like many saints, was very powerful with few words. And in the early 1930s, he would give people books about the life of Christ. Not just the gospel, but, the people using their imagination to kind of fill in the details. And he'd endorse it in the beginning by saying, may you seek Christ. May you find Christ. May you love Christ. Very practical advice. And if ever there's a moment in your life where you're going through a problem or you're upset, ask yourself, am I seeking Christ? Because if you seek him, you will find him. If you find him, you will love him. St. Josemaria was also really quite remarkable for his very high expectations for lay people. So you're called to be a saint. There aren't 2 classes of citizens in the church. The religious and the priests who have to be saints and the rest. And you're called to be a contemplative in the middle of the world. Don't run away from Broadway. Don't run away from Hollywood. Don't run away from Silicon Valley. Don't run away from Rome. Go into it, but go into it equipped as a contemplative in the middle of the world. He had a big personality, as it happens to people with big personalities or charismatic. People want to imitate him, but he said, don't imitate me in anything. Imitate Jesus. But he was wise, and he would say, okay, well, if you can imitate me in something, try to imitate me in my love for the Blessed Mother, because I don't think you can outdo me in that. Because Mary always brings us to Jesus. It's a shortcut to Jesus. So I would encourage you to get to know his life. Go to him for his intercession. He's really good for small things. He's also really good for addictions. And there's lots of addictions out there. I know some stories, but I can't share them with you now because we have a time limit.